Hey, listen, guys, you don't want to do a gallbladder flush if you potentially have gallstones. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. A long time ago, I was really into colon cleanses and flushing out my gallbladder. I was living in San Diego. I had a practice, and I decided to do a gallbladder cleanse. So I proceeded to drink 12 ounces of olive oil with about 2 ounces of Epsom salts. Okay, I was going to drink all that. But before I drank it, I took a handful of beet tablets, concentrated beet tablets, right? It's going to purge and get rid of all my gallstones and my toxins. So I took the beet pills and I flushed it down with this oil, I think it was like 16 ounces. It might have been 16 ounces of olive oil and Epsom salts. It was delicious. So I got it down and then I laid on my right side. Okay. For like a half hour. First of all, my gallbladder was just kind of going crazy. It was like purging and it was dumping. And unfortunately, the beet tablets, because I took them all together, got stuck in my throat. And they started to, be a solid mass in my throat, in my esophagus, to the point where I couldn't even breathe. Okay, it obstructed my breathing. I actually almost died. It was like, it just suffocated me. Anyway, to make a long story short, I didn't die. I'm still here. And I was able to get through that. But what was interesting about this gallbladder flush was I had this idea that I was going to purge my gallstones. Okay. And, you look in the toilet and you see these green little balls. Okay. And you might, if you're not understanding what they are, you might say, oh, those are the stones. They're floating. No, they're not the stones. They're not the gallstones. These are just little balls of bile. They're green. Okay, so basically what you do when you do a gallbladder flush is you purge your bile. Now, gallstones are caused by a bile deficiency. Okay? So if you proceed to flush the bile that you have left out of the gallbladder and out of the liver, and because a lot of the bile is recycled, like 90% of your bile is recycled, and you're already deficient, now you're going to end up with hardly any bile. So without bile, your risk for getting stones goes way, way up, and it could take a long time to get that bile back. Bile is like the detergent that helps you dissolve fats and grease. It helps you extract fat-soluble vitamins from the food that you eat, the omega-3 fatty acids that are really beneficial for vision, for heart, for brain function, cognition, mood, etc. So gallstones consist of a concentrated cholesterol and calcium deposit simply because you don't have enough bile to keep them dissolved. So the last thing you want to do is a gallbladder flush. Okay? I will show you what to do, but you don't want to do this. Because basically you get rid of the bile that you need to help dissolve the stones. So before we get into what to do to dissolve stones, let's just talk about what causes stones. The number one thing is high levels of insulin. Okay, that comes from eating a lot of carbs and sugar. So that's number one. Number two is estrogen. And this is why women, when they're pregnant, have a higher risk of getting stones because of the spike of estrogen. It could be women that are on hormone replacement therapy, birth control pills, and also increased stress because it activates cortisol. So high levels of cortisol will also increase gallstones, insulin. Okay. So this idea that just eating a lot of saturated fats cause gallstones is a myth. It's a combination of the high level of fat with the high level of carbohydrate. Okay. It's a combination of those two. But to trigger the bile release, you need saturated fat and protein. Both of those increase bile production. So if you're in a very, very low protein, low saturated fat diet, that could be one reason why you have stones in the first place. Okay. So what are some things you can do to help yourself if you have a gallbladder problem or you have stones? The first thing is intermittent fasting. Okay. Because that's going to, first of all, reduce insulin, and it's going to give your digestive system a chance to heal and clear out all the food and not work so hard. So that's first thing. Number two, don't do a low-fat diet. do a healthy keto diet, which is moderate protein, a little higher fat because we need some of it, but we also need a lot of vegetables too. Okay, the vegetables will feed the microbes that you need to help recycle the bile, and also the vegetables will help the liver function better as well, since the liver produces bile in the first place. Bile salts would be a very good idea to take, since bile salts, you can get them in a purified form to help you dissolve the stones. So I put a link down below for more information on that topic. And also apple cider vinegar will increase the flow of digestive juices and bile through the liver, as well as fennel will also help as well. And one last, a really cool technique, I'm going to put a link down for a video that I did a long time ago. And it's actually like a manual massage to the digestive organs. And so you can check that out. That can actually take out a lot of tension and spasm that's developed from years of eating poorly. All right, see you next time. So if you want more knowledge on how to create a healthy body, subscribe now and get daily notifications. Daily notifications, that sounds weird. Well, I'll just remind you on a daily basis. How about that?